Hello, everyone, and welcome to Loud, a pop culture podcast for March 8th, 2022. I am your host, Tomye West, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Alannis Maximus. How are you going today, Alan?
I feel like I'm having deja vu.
For anyone that's listening at home or watching at home, we already recorded this episode, and it didn't work, and we did the whole thing. And so, we're back here. And
Yep.
we couldn't be more excited to touch on the stories that we've already touched on today and have the same conversations we had an hour and a half ago. But we're here to do it.
That's because we like you and we want you to like us.
Oh, I tell you, man, the bags of anger that I was carrying when it didn't save the episode, I still don't know what to do with all these bags of anger, man. So nothing funny happened this week for us. Nothing out of the blue has happened with us. So you know what we're going to do? We're just going to get straight into story number one. I bet you, Alan, you have no idea what story number one's going to be.
Could it be Batman?
It's something to do with the Batman. So this is our Batman review roundup. Now, I read a bunch of articles out before and all that, but because we lost the episode, Daddy ain't got time to do that today. So we're just going to give you a quick rundown of what people are saying. Basically, this movie is getting... When we first went and saw this movie last week, before it came out and sort of the first day or two it was out, we heard nothing but positive reviews, like more than positive, like bragging, like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, like awesome movie. And as the days went on and more people saw it, more reviews sort of came out, the bad ones started trickling out as well. So we started getting, people giving it a 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s. People saying it's not a good Batman movie. People saying it's too long, convoluted. Which this is something we actually can touch on before at all, man. Did you find this story convoluted or messy? Because personally, I found it very easy to follow. I found that it was like spaced out pretty nicely, and I felt like compared to The Dark Knight Rises, this was not convoluted.
I was not lost in it at all. It was pretty straightforward. The only way I think you could say it's convoluted is if maybe you tuned out a bit. But I don't think it was complicated at all. I don't think it was hard to follow.
Me either. Other people are saying that it's trying to be Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, and it's not. But again, did we all think it was ever going to be close to Christopher Nolan's trilogy? And if we did think it was close, did we ever think it was going to be on the same, like, is it going to be the same as that trilogy? Like, we're never going to get the same Batman movies as those probably ever again. And I honestly think that if the Dark Knight trilogy didn't exist, this would be everyone's favorite Batman movie. But the problem is the Dark Knight trilogy does exist, and it's forever going to probably be held against those movies. And for anyone out there that really likes the Dark Knight trilogy, really likes Batman, I wouldn't be surprised if this does even fall in your second most loved Batman movie. Or for some of you out there, this might be your first, or some of you might put the whole Dark Knight trilogy before it. But I very much doubt that many of you would put any other release from the Batman movie above this and below the Dark Knight trilogy, or above this and the Dark Knight trilogy. What are your thoughts on that, Alan?
I personally probably put it a bit above, but I think it's also, I wouldn't look at it and go, hey, this is just derivative of that. I think it's Batman, and Batman is dark at times, and this is just another interpretation of it. I think as similar as it is, it was quite different too.
Definitely. And with that, I mean, look, reviews are subjective. Reviews are not like fact. Reviews are opinions, and just like all opinions, everyone's is going to be different. So some people might say the other Batman movies are better. Some people might say they prefer the Tim Burton Batman movie or Michael Keaton as Batman. Opinions are subjective. So, I mean, what's your response to that, Alan? Like, I know you feel the same.
I precisely think that. I think, yeah, everyone has their own opinion. There's not right or wrong. They're your opinion. It's not law when it comes to a subjective thing. But yeah, I think there are some that I disagree with pretty strongly. I think some people are too hard on this movie.
Yeah, and look, I'm still digesting the movie as it goes by, and I'm still wondering if we're gonna get some of the deleted scenes we've heard of, like about Batman going into Arkham and querying Joker on questions to help solve the problems or help solve who the Riddler is or whatever. We found out from Matt Reeves in an interview that was a deleted scene, or it ended up on the cutting room floor and it didn't work. I wonder if we'll see that when it's released. But I mean, the main problem for me with this movie was the runtime and the fact that the last act was kind of left till the last minute. Like the big part of the last act, like that I thought was awesome, was left till the last minute, and I would have loved to have more of that earlier onwards. As of course, we're not trying to spoil this for anybody, so I mean, Alan knows what part I'm talking about there.
Yes,
Sort of this big set piece, sort of what Gotham goes through. I just would have loved to see that come in a little bit earlier and have a little bit more of that story fleshed out. Apart from that, I think the movie is okay. It was fine. It was good. It was great. It just wasn't on the same level as The Dark Knight for me. So I mean, how do you feel? I mean, you said you personally like it more than majority of The Dark Knight, but would you put it as number 1 or 2 with The Dark Knight?
I think I'll put it in how many movies? Yeah, I'll probably put it top 4.
Definitely. Definitely. And with that, we're going to go into the box office results for the Batman. So we have an article written by Adam Bankhurst at IGN saying the Batman wins the night with domestic weekend box office ticket sales of 128.5 million. Then it says, as reported by Variety, the Batman had the best opening weekend of 2022 and is only the second pandemic-era film to earn over 100 million at the domestic box office on its debut, with Spider-Man No Way Home as the other film to do so, earning 260 million at the box office. The Batman had a production budget of around 200 million, and its extra 120 million earned at the international box office has helped the latest take on The Dark Knight already make that back. Globally, the Batman is currently sitting at $248.5 million. So, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think well-deserved? Do you think, I know you're a big Spider-Man fan. I know you really enjoyed No Way Home. I mean, do you think it deserved it and it was on par with that movie? Because I know you like Spider-Man a lot more than the Batman. So
yeah, I think it's they were definitely good for very different reasons. It's like comparing day, apart from the fact that they're comic movies, they're very night and day. I think they were very good in their own ways. Batman excelled in ways that Spider-Man didn't, and Spider-Man excelled in ways that Batman didn't. I think is the best way to put it.
Agree, totally. I mean, awesome that it did that. It blows my mind that opening weekend is like when you're going to get most people going to see it and things like that. And things like Justice League and stuff like still earned like $650, $700 million globally. This movie reaching 240 in one weekend, that's really good. But like, I wonder how many people, like, how does it add up to being like, this movie could potentially earn $1 billion at the box office. How many people are going to see it in the next 3 weeks? The most Batman diehard fans are going to go first 2 weeks, and I just don't see how that can make up that. I'm sure it will, but I don't understand the box office. Do you?
Yeah, no, it's confusing.
I'm just looking at Jackass Forever box office results actually, because I wanted to see if it was successful compared to other movies and whatnot. And so far, it's on par or more successful than Jackass movie, Jackass number 2. but it hasn't even come close to Jackass 3D yet. Apparently, Jackass 3D was the most commercially successful Jackass release yet. I'm really hoping that Jackass Forever. I'd love to hear an interview from Jeff Tremaine or someone like that now to hear what they think about how the movie did, because we got a lot of interviews with him about what they were hoping for, and now that the movie's coming out, what their thoughts on it and stuff. But we haven't gotten like an update of how that movie went in terms of success, and if they look at it as a success or it did okay or a failure. I'd be really interested to see that sort of story come out at some point.
Definitely.
Anyways, we're going to move on to the second part of this sort of story, which is that the Batman is getting 2 spin-off shows, and that is two spin-off shows for HBO Max, including one on just the Penguin from this movie, Colin Farrell's Penguin, and also another show on the Gotham Police Department, focusing on the Gotham Police Department, and also apparently heavily focusing on Arkham Asylum. What are your thoughts on that, Alan?
I'm excited, probably more so, to see the Penguin series, and as long as they don't turn it into another Gotham, which started out, well, as we said, an hour and a half ago, but kind of went downhill, I think it would be also pretty cool to see. Some of the heroes you might not see some of the villains you might not see in the movies might get a bit of a chance to be seen there in their darker incarnations, which could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder what like. There's a reveal of a villain in the movie that, in Arkham Asylum with the Riddler, that was obviously teased. But as I said, I really hope it doesn't go that way, because I didn't think the person that they teased playing him or anything was super impressive or made me feel anything special when they revealed it. Like, it was like it wasn't like, oh, what? That's sick. Like, remember the bit at the end of Justice League with the reveal of, like, is it Deathstroke on the boat with Jesse Eisenberg's like, to me, that was more of a, that's sick moment than the reveal we got in this movie for that person in Arkham Asylum. Would you agree?
Definitely.
So for me, I would have to say that, like, I hope that the next ones, like the sequel and stuff, like movies, do not follow that route. And I'd say if we are going to get that teased character, to probably save it for one of the TV shows that we've got coming up and not revolve the whole movie around him, because I do feel like that's not the person we're looking for, or we didn't feel like that person really did anything to make us feel excited. I mean, is that how you feel?
More or less, yeah. It was kind of like, hey, that's cool, but it didn't wow me.
Agreed totally. So I don't know when these are coming to HBO Max. I think Matt Reeves has something to do with these, considering that he's the one that confirmed that the movie would be about the Penguin, focusing on the Penguin, and I'm guessing Colin Farrell will be returning as the Penguin. We didn't really speak much about it. What did you think about Colin Farrell as the Penguin for the movie?
I think he did really well. Like, I'm a big fan of a bit more of the classic one, but obviously we're not going to get that in this. But for what resources were kind of there, it was good. I liked it. I think it was an amazing job from him, for the fact that unless I already knew it was Colin Farrell, there was no fucking way I would have ever told that. Like,
I didn't know it was Colin Farrell until, like, probably 3 days ago. Even when me and you watched it and shit, I had no clue, bro. So yeah, I don't know. Everyone keep an eye out for those spin-off shows, the Penguin and the GCPD one. So yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with that. Now we're going to move on to our next story, and this is the entertainment. What do you want to say? I'm so burnt out because we've already done this. The entertainment industry versus Russia. Now, We talked a little bit about this before, obviously, before the episode went to shit. Nintendo have stopped eShop purchases in Russia. Microsoft has stopped selling all their products, games, and I think stopped services in Russia. Netflix has suspended streaming in Russia. And EA Sports have taken Russian teams out of FIFA and all those things. So, I mean, right now it's the entertainment industry against Russia, and I'm sure we all know why this is happening. But yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on it, Alan.
I think in some ways, like, I get where they're coming from. In some ways, it feels like a bit of an overstretch, and I hope it's not publicity. And I guess my main thing is I hope it doesn't swing the door back the other way and have the people start to push back against, I guess, the best way to put it, the right side.
Yeah.
Because they're being alienated. That's my only concern, and I don't think it's likely, but nonetheless, that's one concern I have about it.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, I know you don't want it to like come back on us and all that sort of thing. But also, as I was saying before, this is something that I feel it needs to be done in a certain way. Like, look, right now, the government needs, like, everyone's answer right now is to hurt them where it hurts, which is economically, and try to get them to stop doing what they're doing, which is the government is doing something that's horrible and is uncalled for and is just terrible. And I just don't get it. No one understands why they need to do this. And so the only way to get the people of Russia to band together and, like, of course, we're not saying Russians are bad people here. This is not what we're saying. We're actually with the people of Russia. We hope that Russian people feel the same as everyone else around the world. And I'm sure the majority of them do feel the same way, which is they don't want this to happen. But this is a collective way of everyone in the entertainment industry sort of banding together and trying to show those people in Russia that, like, the rich people or the people that don't really care about this sort of thing or don't really care that this is happening, to show them that this is going to affect your life if you don't care or you do care. So, like, for the people that do care, it sucks that this is happening to you with things being taken away from you and services being suspended. But at the same time, this is the only way that it's going to show everyone in Russia that this is going to hurt them to band together to make sure that they can talk to their government or, fight against their government and tell them we don't want this to happen, and band together as one and show that we need them to, as a country, take back their country from this terrible leader that they have. And look, as I said, there's going to be people in Australia that if this was happening, what's happening now, they're like, it doesn't affect us. Why would I care? In America, there's going to be people that's like, this doesn't really affect us, so why would I care? And in Russia, I'm sure there's people that are like, I don't care if we take Ukraine or not, as long as this doesn't affect me. And this is sort of the entertainment industry going, well, this is going to affect you. And if it doesn't affect you money-wise, it's going to affect you entertainment-wise. If it doesn't affect you entertainment-wise, it's going to affect you in this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. So while I think it's a bit far, I also think at the same time, well, what has to happen in order for this to try and get solved as quickly as possible? Because that's all we really want is we want, like, things like Russia and like Russians themselves to go back to normal as quickly as possible. We want this just to stop. And I'm sure Xbox would rather that they could sell their consoles in Russia. Apparently Grand Theft Auto 5 was like the third biggest played game online over there, and suspending that service and shit is affecting a lot of people over there. Suspending Netflix, suspending certain things that they sell it, like they ship over here and people have, investments in and things like that. Like, it's the only way that we can step up and kind of put our foot down and say, well, this is what we're doing, or this is what we're doing to counteract this. I don't know what step. I mean, the entertainment industry, I almost feel like, has to make a stand in this. And apart from what they're doing now, I mean, I don't know what else they could really do to make a stand. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like this is, while harsh on the people that don't deserve it in Russia, and not saying that anyone in Russia deserves this is just a way to make the people that don't care stand up and listen and fight with the people that really do care. And yeah, I just hope that everything goes back to normal for Russians, for the rest of the world, as quickly as possible, and we all stand together as one against tyranny. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
I mean, as I was saying, it sucks that PlayStation haven't taken more of a bit of a step. I feel like halting Gran Turismo 7 or whatever from being released is like such a, compared to Xbox or whatever, it's such a minor step. I don't know. I just feel like it's a minor step. They haven't halted console sales. Their service. I don't think. I think PSN's still up. But like, yeah, I mean, for Netflix to suspend a service in a whole country like that, it's a big deal. So,
Yeah.
And Microsoft and Nintendo, and especially Nintendo, to step in when they're Japanese. That's what I mean. Nintendo are Japanese, and it's crazy to me that PlayStation aren't doing the same because they're Japanese too.
Yeah.
So, but again, we don't want this to happen to you, Russia, the good people of Russia. We just know that something has to be done to show that other countries and other businesses and entertainment, other industries aren't going to stand for what's going on in Russia and the rest of the world at the moment. So, you know, it's a tough thing, but we hope things go back to normal. So,
Yes.
next thing we're going to talk about is Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, DLC news. So I'm going to pull this up quickly. 1 second, everyone. I'm just trying to find, through my history, the same goddamn article I was looking at earlier. I'm sorry, guys, but you've got to understand, if we seem low energy, or if we seem like we're trying to get through this episode a little bit quicker than usual, or we're not spending as long lingering on things, we really apologize. But you have no idea. We spent an hour and a bit recording this last episode. We had lots of stories. We had good conversations. We were all in high spirits. And then it was ripped out from underneath us like a fucking rug. And because of that, we have to do it all again.
And
So,
it's hard to recreate a conversation you just had and be like, boy, howdy, this is something I have not discussed an hour ago.
I know, I just said the exact same fucking thing I said before about Russia. And god damn it, man, I almost felt like it was fucking, not deja vu, but torture. So, okay, I'm just trying to find this article. Okay, so the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is getting some DLC content. First of all, before we get into it, Alan, what's your sort of history with the Lego games, and sort of like how many of them have you played, and if you haven't played any, have any looked really like enticing to you and that sort of thing?
Never played the Star Wars ones, but I've kind of always been tempted. The first ones I played, it would have been on the 360, the Indiana Jones ones, years ago, like over 10 years ago. But recently, more so, I haven't finished any of them. I kind of picked them up and put them down. They're kind of time killing games, I guess, for me.
Yeah.
But the Marvel ones probably played the most of.
What Marvel ones have you played?
Marvel Heroes and the Avengers. I've also got Marvel Heroes 2, but I haven't gotten to it because I haven't finished the first one. So I was like, it upsets my OCD to go to that while I'm still playing the first one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so you played like the Marvel ones and stuff. I mean, look, dude, I'm a die-hard Lego fan, including the games. I've played like Lego Harry Potter, Lego City, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Batman, Lego DC superhero supervillains. I played heaps, man. I mean, my favorite Lego Dimensions, which we've got heaps of stuff in, like the Mission Impossible packs, the ET pack, Goonies, Sonic the Hedgehog, Adventure Time, the A-Team, all these sorts of cool properties. And we haven't had really like a full-fledged Lego game in years. And they took a long time on this game. They used to release annually. And I'm not a big Star Wars fan. But what I am a big fan of is the new direction they've sort of taken this game in, which is like they've sort of given it more of like a third-person action game. And like looking at the footage here, it looks really fun. It looks different. It just kills me that it's not a property that I am such a huge fan of. Like I know you like Star Wars a little bit more than I do. I also think that this might be a great game for you with Lego games because it does have that updated gameplay, and I almost feel like this may be one of the best Star Wars games, except for maybe Fallen Order or something like that. Story-wise, Star Wars games, even though it's a Lego one, it almost feels like this is the best looking Star Wars game story-wise I've seen in a long time. You know what I mean? Apart from maybe Fallen Order. I mean, looking at the trailer, how do you feel about that sort of assumption?
I agree. And I'm definitely liking the new format, the more kind of over the shoulder action rather than the top down, or I guess further out third person feel to it. I think it freshens it up a bit. It doesn't feel like the same game with a different paint job kind of thing.
I totally agree. And so yeah, like the DLC news that we've gotten, it's an article by Ryan Dinsdale from IGN. Says Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is getting Mandalorian and Rogue One DLC. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is getting an extended universe DLC, including content from The Mandalorian or Rogue One and a Star Wars story. Nintendo Everything reports that the game is getting 7 DLC packs in total based on films and series outside of the main saga, available for purchase individually or collectively in the Character Collection Season Pass. 2 packs will be available to everyone when the Skywalker Saga launches on April 5th, including characters from the first season of The Mandalorian and Solo: A Star Wars Story. The former includes 5 characters, including the Mandalorian himself, who comes with a non-playable Grogu, plus Grief Karga, Cara Dune, IG-11, and Kuil. Kuiil. What's that?
I'm not sure.
The Solo pack includes young Han Solo, young Chewbacca, young Lando Calrissian, somebody else, QI apostrophe RI, Tobias Beckett, and Enfys Nest. There's going to be further ones coming up down the line, including characters from the classic characters pack, which is coming later on, includes Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Darth Vader, and Lando Calrissian. And the Trooper pack includes a Death Trooper, Incinerator Trooper, Range Trooper, Imperial Shore Trooper, and Mimbian Stormtrooper. And yeah, the last 2 packs will be available on May 4th, featuring characters from the second season of The Mandalorian. So, I mean, how do you feel about hearing that on top of like what we're already getting looks to be a very complete and epic sort of like amount of levels and stuff in this game? It looks to be a very complete package. So how do you feel about getting all that on top of it?
Definitely. I feel good. I like that it's touching on some of the outside stuff like the series, like the Mandalorian things, rather than just the core movies. It's pretty cool that they're doing that. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here, because it sounds like they're covering all the boxes. So how will they do more Star Wars after this? Would be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. It's kind of sad though, because I've heard rumors that Traveller's Tales, who are the people who make the Lego games, I've heard that this may be their last Lego game. And I'm kind of disappointed in that, because look, we got a Lego Batman 1, a Lego Batman 2, and then we got a Lego Batman 3 that felt more like a Lego Justice League game. It wasn't set in Gotham barely. It was set on like all the different like Green Lantern planets and all that sort of thing, and I didn't like it as much. So I'm waiting for that. I really was waiting for like a Lego Batman 4 set back in Gotham that was grounded just about Batman and Robin and their suits and maybe whatever, and you unlock like, you know, the villains and the Batgirls and whatever. But it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting that anytime soon, especially from Traveler's Tales. And I wonder if this means the end of the Lego games franchise, or like as a whole, or if this means we get someone else to take up the mantle and release Lego games in the future. So I'm not really too sure what we're going to get, but fingers crossed, as I said, it is someone that either picks it up or hopefully Traveler's Tales gets it back and continues on, and we get some more cool titles with the same sort of refresh they've given this one.
Definitely.
All right, we'll move on to one thing we're going to cut out, but I think it's worth bringing up again, is that GTA 5's details, next-gen details have hit, and they're very lackluster. So basically, without running too deep into it, we are getting the same game with prettier graphics. So, Alan, how do you feel about this?
Considering I have no interest in GTA Online, I am not interested. I just finished it on the last re-release for the first time, and paying $60 to get some slightly nicer looking bells and whistles, just no. It's no.
There's no goddamn way I'm getting taken, which is, we found out it's going to be $60 in Australia. I'm not paying another $60 for a game I've already got in my fucking PlayStation 5 library to play the same game that's 13 years old or some shit now, 12 years old, whatever it is. It's just, as I said, where's our Red Dead Redemption 2 upgrade? Where's our GTA 4 remaster with episodes of Liberty City included, like Lost and Damned and the Ballad of Gay Tony? Like, that's stranded on those consoles, and we're never going to get those, or it doesn't seem like it. I'm just getting sick of this GTA 5 shit, man. It's just like milking this fucking game, and I can't even, man. I am not, and I repeat, I am not paying for the same game again.
Yep. So I compare it to what Bethesda have done with Skyrim. But at least with Skyrim, they've added some more stuff. Like in the new Skyrim, like the 5th re-release or whatever they're up to, you can go fishing. You can do new stuff. This, nothing. Just looks better.
It's just sad, man. It's just sad that we've gotten this far to GTA. Like, we got 3, and then sort of like 4 and 5, if you want to include, like, I think they did the ports for like the PSP games to PS2. Then on PS3 and Xbox, we got GTA 4 and the 2 downloadable content add-ons, or, well, they released them later on as a pack. And then we got GTA 5, and that's on the next console. And then we've had GTA 5 for 3 generations.
Yeah.
And I'm done, man. I'm done. Like, I can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6. But until Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, or we get a Red Dead Redemption 2 remaster that doesn't run at 30 frames per second and make it feel like I'm having a stroke while I'm playing it, after playing really buttery smooth games on our new consoles, I don't know, man. Rockstar Games needs to pull their finger out, because they went from being like one of the most high respected game developers that I had such a high, like, I looked up to them so highly, along with the likes of Naughty Dog and things like that, like on the level of being like that cool and that great at what they do. And they've just gone like from here to just every year down here. And I would die for a GTA 4 with episodes of Liberty City pack remaster, with the controls upgraded and stuff, way more than what we got with the GTA trilogy back in November or what it was. Are you the same with that?
Absolutely.
And how do you feel against, like, with GTA 4 against GTA 5? Like,
I think that probably enjoyed 4 more. 5 was a good game, but 4, I think it was just the story interested me more, I think.
Yeah, totally. I just think what they need to update the controls, make the car sort of physics a little bit better, those sorts of things. And I think it would be a killer game just to lift those graphics up, put a new trophy list out, make the game new again.
Yeah.
And yeah, just give it the GTA trilogy treatment with care and respect.
Definitely.
Which is what we didn't get with the GTA trilogy. We're going to move on to our last story for the day, and that is going to be that Epic Games has bought Bandcamp. And my question is, why? What does this announcement do for you, Alan?
It makes me do the same thing. Why?
I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Like, as I said to you before, when we recorded this podcast for the first time and not the second, what I said to you before was that, like, okay, so for all of you uninitiated out there, Epic Games make Fortnite. And Bandcamp, for all you uninitiated out there, is a platform for bands to put their music, CDs, EPs, whatever they want to put up, charge whatever price they want to charge, and sort of have it. You can download the FLAC files from there, so really high quality files. And yeah, it's a really awesome place to just chuck your music out. I'd say it's a little bit more less important now that we got things like Spotify and things like that, but it's still a place that's decent. So it's a music distribution platform. So Fortnite buying this just baffles my fucking mind because they have nothing to do with each other. But what I kind of, asked you before is Fortnite, they've held concerts in there, and they've done some things, like that before. So will we see them sort of do a deal with like bands that put their stuff up or whatever on Bandcamp that do extremely well? Will they partner up with them, make like it possible for you to make like a playlist of music while you're playing Fortnite, so that while you're playing Fortnite, you've got a playlist of music in there that you can like have playing while you play. Like how GTA did that with the trilogy on PC and things like that, where you can make your own custom radio stations and those sorts of things with your music that you owned in your own library. So, like, is that something you could maybe see Fortnite doing, like making custom playlists with what they've got from Bandcamp?
I'd hope so. I think it'll be the most practical kind of thing for them to do. And I mean, they could also have competition kind of things for bands to get themselves in there and get some exposure. Which, I mean, depending on the genre they're doing and the market, which I think at this point with Fortnite is mostly the younger generation, could be a really cool way to springboard some local talent, which I think would be cool.
I think that would be the only thing that would make sense for them to do. I think they'd need to do a whole revamp of the Bandcamp sort of website. I think they'd need to like make it more like Epic Games owns this. This is the sort of analytics you have to reach before you like become eligible to be in Fortnite, or there has to be something different to the way it is, because it's very basic and still sort of like stuck in its time compared to like things like Spotify and that. I think they need to make like a Bandcamp app and sort of those sorts of things, just like Spotify has. I think there needs to be a whole overhaul of Bandcamp itself to make that work for Fortnite. But I think that that's something that if you're going to invest money into and buy it, and it's completely not in the same realm of what you're doing, I think that's the only thing you can do with Bandcamp is you're going to have to update it. You're going to have to make it work for what your intentions are, I guess, and right now we are kind of unsure about what those intentions are. So I guess we'll keep our ears to the ground and wait and see what we're going to get out of this, or if maybe Epic Games is planning on branching out into the music business, which is, I tell you what, a dumb idea, because the music business is not exactly the biggest moneymaker like it once was.
Absolutely.
New day and age, So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm not the biggest Fortnite person, so to me this doesn't really matter in the long run. I mean, I plan on using Bandcamp again for our band's releases and stuff like that. I've used it in the past, along with other things. It's always good to have the option there at least for people. So yeah, I mean, we could definitely see some cool things come out of there for Fortnite players, or maybe even some stuff to come out of there that's cool for musicians. But I don't really see it coming out for people that are not musicians or into Fortnite being very sort of interesting or drawing for them.
Yeah.
The only thing I can imagine is that they're doing this to partner up something to do with Fortnite, as that's their biggest game, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down, just like Minecraft has shown no signs of slowing down. So, or Roblox, for instance, as well. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's another thing to keep our ears to the ground and just see how it goes. And that'll be all the stories we have for you today. We actually had a few more stories we were going to talk about, including DC League of Super Pets, the Valve Steam Deck, and also that's really about it, actually. So, I mean, look, ended up being a bit shorter, and we kind of ran over topics a little bit quicker than we did the first time. But now this turned into a really long night, and you know what I want to do? I want to eat some dinner and I want to go to bed. But we felt like we still had to bring you to our show. So before we head off, we're just going to do the housekeeping, which we didn't do at the start like we did before because I forgot. So
it's almost like you thought you'd already done it because
exactly. I have notes here about the show, like how it's going to run, and I just threw it across the room, man, because I was fucking mad. So yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, like and share it. You know, comment, be a part of the community. We want to build it up. We want to keep going. We're at 95 subscribers now, which is awesome. We're 5 away from our 100 subscriber goal. We have a competition running at the moment. I was going to put the competition ad in before this podcast, but it's not going to happen because we got to get this episode up as quick as possible, and I got to do that before bed. So if you want to know more about the competition, head to our Facebook page or maybe chuck on another video and check it out there. But basically, you can win a cymbal, one of my personal cymbals through Soultone Cymbals. It'll be a 10-inch splash. Once we get there, once we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to pick one of the subscribers out of all the 100 to receive free of charge this cymbal. It's awesome quality. It sounds awesome. It has my logo and my signature on it. Yeah, and it's basically a series of my own. So I hope that's a cool prize for everyone. We'll have more prizes as the goal stretches from 100 to 150 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, if you haven't head to our Facebook page, we haven't got the link, but you know what? We'll put it in the description below for y'all. Head to our Facebook page. That helps us a lot, and also gives you a chance to follow and like and keep up to date with what we're doing when things drop and all that. We've actually just done a review of the Batman movie. If you haven't checked it out, we've done our ranked and reviewed and completed our Indiana Jones ranked and reviewed series. So we've got all 4 reviews to go check out if you haven't checked them out. We've done the Jackass movies. We've done the Scream movies. We've got our CKY reviews coming up this time. And we've also got heaps more cool reviews coming out. I think after CKY, we're moving on to Jurassic Park. Maybe, I think, before the new movie hits in cinemas.
I think yeah.
Does it sound right to you?
It sounds right to me, yeah. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, we're going to do the Halloween movies, which is going to be a long 12 weeks, 13 weeks of content. And yeah, like we've got heaps of stuff coming out. So we hope you guys are ready for that. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Louder Pop Culture Podcast. As always, I am your host, Tomye West. As always, it's my co-host, Alannis Maximus. And we're off to bed.
Good night.
See you next time, y'all.